Welcome to Bottle Rocket Company. Let's go!
Hi, check. Okay, you can hear me. Hi everybody. This is craziness that this is happening. If you are here, which I know the answer to, if you're hearing this, I guess I know where you're at. I'm out of breath. I shouldn't have lived on the second floor of anywhere, especially here, because I get out of breath every time I come up here. And the thing is always I get so excited to come upstairs and do things that I need to do up here, and so I move up so quick up the stairs, and then I get all out of breath. And then I feel obligated to immediately put my mouth by this thing that put sound into your ears, so you will hear me breathing a bunch. Hi guys, welcome to the Bottle Rocket Company podcast. This is, I think, gonna be maybe the first episode, but I don't know if I'm supposed to even clarify. I'm not entirely sure how this works. I guess it'll make sense once it comes out. But today's episode, we haven't even recorded everything from the first season, but it's going to be really, really tough to beat this one as far as emotional depth goes, because Joey Brodnax and Drew Bauml, today's guests, are some of the most emotionally intelligent people I have ever met. They are funny and they are kind, and they are literally the most unique people I have encountered in my life. They have been my two best friends the entirety of my time here in Nashville, and they've been literally through every up and down with me in my life, as well as me going through things with them. We've just been by each other's side for a really long time. We talk about a lot of really interesting things that I've wanted to hear them vocalize for a long time. I've gotten the pleasure of seeing them work and seeing them follow their passions, but I've never gotten to, like, as an outsider, hear them explain why they love what they do. Yep. I guess that's a good thing for an intro. That's good. Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys learn as much as I did from this episode. Cool. I'm gonna take a deep breath like this. I should just stop smoking and eating a bunch of things and then running up the stairs all at the same time. Well, I just got a text. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys. Enjoy this episode. Let's do it.
Yes, I was wondering if you thought Kirby was a name before the video game.
Yo, that sounds... I think Kirby absolutely gives me
Check.
some, what's the word I'm looking for? The Crucible vibes.
I don't know what that is.
The Crucible?
Oh, yeah, that's like,
Nope.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Are we on?
I don't know.
Is it recording, though?
It is
Then
recording.
we're going. The Crucible was a book that I had to read in high school. Shut the fuck up. Y'all didn't have to read that? It was about the Salem witch trials.
No, I didn't have to read that.
Really?
No.
Did you guys have to read a bunch in high school?
I did.
Yeah.
Did you guys read the books you were assigned?
I read mostly, I think, the Spark Notes for most of my high school classes, but
Yeah. That, besides To Kill a
I read-
Mockingbird.
yeah,
you-
I read
that was
that.
like
Yeah,
an
all of
actual
it.
one that I
I read Heart of Darkness for sure, too.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, we didn't have to do that one.
Damn, that's pretty... That's one to get into, huh?
Hey, you guys want to talk about Heart of
No,
Darkness?
no. I mean, like...
Yeah, that feels like a
High
lot
school.
for episode 1.
Like, that's
feels
the
like
one
a
you
ton.
chose to Spark Note.
It was, and it was short. I remember being short.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, I've never read that.
Have you
but
seen
it sounds
Apocalypse
like-
Now?
No, but I've played Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, it's basically the same thing.
That's awesome, man. We had to. I'm incredibly thankful. I had a teacher in high school that I didn't really connect with, but then out of nowhere, I'm thinking now she was going through something in her life, but she assigned us Catcher in the Rye,
Ooh.
like halfway through the year, and like read it aloud with us in class, and it was like the first time I'd heard a teacher expose a side of themselves that was like not afraid of swearing and terrible stuff. So it's
Wow.
like, yeah, it was
How-
really interesting.
I didn't know Catcher in the Rye was
It was
like
like
a school book.
well, it was like a banned book for a really long time. So I
Yeah.
think she like somehow. That's why I think she was going through something. Is that out of nowhere she was just like,
All right, we're doing this.
Like, we're reading this book,
"Hey guys, we were supposed to read something else."
Dante's Inferno.
but everyone's
Yeah.
a phony.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, guys,
What is this?
welcome
Yeah, what's going on?
to the Bottle Rocket Project.
Can I take off my shoes? I kind of want to take off my shoes.
Yeah. Guys, I want to. I don't know if we can.
Can
do
they
an
see
intro
us?
this late? They
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
See
yeah.
us. No one's
right.
gonna see this.
All right,
Sadly.
tight.
Well, guys, this is going really well.
Chris throwing
considering we were
Okay.
just saying before we started recording how this is a really funny situation to be in, because our dynamic a lot of times has not been me in control. So this is a crazy position to be hosting a podcast. I just was doing some journaling before this happened, and I was writing down that I was hosting the first episode of a podcast today, and followed it with the sentence, "Will that ever not sound like a lie?" Because it feels like I'm lying to say that. But
we're here.
It's an honor to have you guys.
It's
so thanks
happening.
for being here
Yeah.
in this little room in our house.
I really didn't realize that I just click record and like we're doing
No,
it.
no, no.
Oh wait, we're
It's
actually
happening.
recording.
Perfect.
We're actually recording.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I
we're
can't
here.
go back.
All
And
right.
so 6 minutes in now would be a great time for you guys to introduce yourselves, maybe.
I think it'd be perfect.
All right, let's go around the room.
You can go first.
Counterclockwise. All right,
Yeah.
clockwise. My name is Joey Brodnax, and
Cool.
I am a director based out of Nashville, Tennessee, at the moment.
Where are you from?
And originally from Arkansas.
Oh,
Yeah, tiny little town, Whitehall, Arkansas. What's up?
Represent.
And yeah, I just
Put
have
him
been
on
in
that.
Nashville for like 8 years making stuff.
whoa. That's pretty awesome. That's a great intro.
Who are you guys?
My name's Drew.
Cool.
Drew Bauml is the name. And yeah, I went to Belmont here. I started in 2014. I'm originally from Texas. But yeah, I'm a camera operator, a DP, and I also now make things within the computer in the realm of the virtual.
You do it quite well, if I
Oh.
might add.
Thank you. Thanks for taking a chance on me, you know?
Oh, I love rolling the dice.
Seeing what
Especially
you
a
get.
guy like you. When it works out, it works out, you know? Good lord. Good lord, man. Well, you guys are clearly both very interesting people from your descriptions of yourselves alone. Very humble as well, which leads me to wonder aloud in question form. How did you guys meet one another? Because you both have similar interests and at one point did not know each other. How long have you guys known each
true.
other as well?
Do we meet your second year of college?
Yeah, I'll tell my side.
All right, that's
How
probably
about
better.
Ooh. It's like a trial.
Yeah. I saw a little clip from an Amplify video, Luke Levinson's
Tight.
single session, which was like maybe that was like y'all's like third official like Amplify
Yes.
thing, right?
So Amplify was a company that you and some friends started, Joey, correct?
Yes. I don't know how far we want to go back, but
Everything, man. We're doing long form, baby.
All right. It was
Yeah, we're going like 4 hours. Like,
I mean,
is
we're
this your first
talking
one?
Well, this is the first one we're recording. I don't know if this will be the first one that's released.
Out. Okay.
I've already thought about having to do the intro before this, where we go, hey guys, so we're gonna be kind of talking weird chronologically, but
We're gonna just jump right in with
we're
it.
just gonna kind of. But I'm really stoked for this one. Joey and Drew, boom.
Here we go.
You can put that clip in front.
I was singing theme songs today, so hopefully by the time someone hears this, we have a great theme song.
Damn.
What a joke!
You should do something with like.
God.
This is good.
Okay, Joey, you
Yeah.
started a company called Amplify.
Yes. Okay, so I went to Belmont University as well in 2013, and basically it was just like sort of surrounded by a bunch of crazy talented people, and wanted a avenue to sort of like begin to meet people, work with people, like learn about like making art alongside artists. And there were two other friends of mine, Forrest Brown and Mitchell Schlepper, that we kind of got together and formed this little entertainment group that like in, I guess it would have been the fall of 2013. So I just started working with a bunch of artists.
Why'd you call it Amplify?
It kind of this like idea of working with like artists that you hadn't heard of. There was a problem with like the process and the sound almost that like it needed a form of like amplification.
Yeah.
I don't know. We went through names a bunch that summer and like just kind of came up with it. But yeah, I can start to connect all the dots, but like we kind of planned this like East Coast tour. I guess 2 years or in our second year of existing and kind of working with artists to kind of bounce around like East Coast and then eventually like the West Coast, going to town, kind of just asking like bar owners or like tastemakers, or photographers, like anybody, just like who are the people in these towns that like are talented, that are working on music, that like that we kind of just need to know about, or that like should work with, or that like we could make something cool alongside. And that's how I met you.
Were you? That is so true. Golly, I watched that video the other day. It was insane. I was so sad.
Yeah, what was that like?
Oh my god, it's crazy, man. I was in high school when you and I met, and I was very depressed and young. And the video that you and I filmed together, we did a live session, an acoustic version of one of my songs, per recommendation of a friend of mine, Tyler, from the band Serious Bright, out of Knoxville, who I think you had done a session with earlier in the
That was
day.
our only reason for coming to Knoxville.
Yeah,
Was to work with them.
and then you guys had some extra time, and they sent you my way, which I am forever grateful for.
We literally had an afternoon, but
yeah, that's
it's
insane.
hilarious.
Yeah, and I think I like left school early or something to do it, or like something like that. But I wanted to ask you, just in the description of that trip, that's so just like, you guys went on this trip with as much of a plan as you didn't have a plan. So like when you were reaching out to people trying to find artists or musicians or just people that cared about something in a city, were you getting the results that you wanted just by asking around randomly? Because something I love about your art is the sporadic nature of everything, and just the trust in how things will pan out if you just expect them to.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it feels like that was maybe an early time that you were
for sure
discovering the beauty in just going for it.
I'm so glad we're already talking about this, but yeah,
Yeah, dude. I mean,
that also just to before I dive completely into that, I didn't fully connect how that like got me to meeting Drew as well, which is what started us on this. I hadn't even thought about it. That's literally how I met both of you guys, was through just like working.
Well,
on
I mean,
stuff.
you guys both have elements of that in your art, and so yeah, maybe let's connect the dots on how you guys met.
Yeah, so I literally saw that teaser and I was like, oh my god, like, I don't know what this is, but I think this is a Belmont thing, maybe, I can't really tell. But at the time I was like doing audio, and I was like, I want to work on audio with whoever these people are. And then once I like started doing a couple sessions with y'all, just like learning it, and it was just y'all three, which was so cool, and it felt so small and intimate, and like it felt like those sessions, I remember just feeling like, God, everyone here like wants to be here, and everyone's excited to be making this little thing right now. that it seemed like we were making for no one, but then, things would, like, I mean, it just spread like wildfire, especially on Belmont's campus, and I thought it was just like such a cool thing to bring people together. But yeah, I ended up just like doing some audio, and eventually Joey let me hold his camera, his stage 4, and yeah, that was it. Then
had you done any photography or like
Not
stuff
really.
before, or was it just literally just like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, it was like that. I was
Yeah.
like, because I thought I was gonna do audio for sure. Like video was not even in the question. Like,
Psych.
What was the,
yeah.
what was the draw to audio?
I think it's the same things that I find in video. Honestly, it's like, I really liked mixing. Like when I went to
Sure.
Belmont, I didn't know what EQ was even. Like I was just recording.
It's that little place they do when they hand you the ice cream. They turn it upside down and drop
Oh,
it. So you
yeah.
pass
The
it all
upside
out.
down
The
test.
blizzards,
Yep.
is that what they're called? Yeah,
I think so. That may be Sonic, actually.
that might be McDonald's.
That is Sonic.
Oh my
okay.
god. Yo, let's go
You don't wanna
to
get Sonic.
McDonald's.
And cut. Trip to Sonic.
20-minute episode.
Easy. But yeah, I mean, I really like the idea of just like being able to manipulate and like craft something after the fact. I loved post-production stuff, which led me to like, wow, like you can do all this like in post, which was like almost like finding like a new technology for me. I was like, oh my god, like I didn't know this existed this side of the world. I didn't know how this worked. But then that led me like, okay, well, what can you do on the front end? Like, what can you, like, for camera sake, it's just like, what can you put in front of the lens already, like, practically to kind of find that final product in the beginning. So I liked that idea, and I saw that a lot in Joey. It's just like, yeah, let's just, like, make it in real life and shoot it like that. Because we probably can make something cool like that.
What was the first? So what was the first project that you guys did together? Was it an Amplify project or?
It would have been a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we did like a lot of sessions like together,
Yeah.
but music video,
I don't know about the first music video, actually.
yeah.
Did you guys start working together before you started hanging together, or was it kind of a combination of like? Because I remember there was something about that time that we were all creating shit too, where there was an equal amount of figuring things out before we were filming or recording or doing whatever, where everyone was just kind of fucking around. So like, what do you guys remember meeting each other and like instantly just like diving in creatively together, or were you guys kind of just like feeling each other out, and like what was that?
Yeah, well, at least for me, since
Yeah.
I was like more attached to audio at that point,
Right.
I wasn't even thinking about video.
Yeah.
So like for the first handful of interactions with you, I was like, oh, that's cool, but like nothing to do with me really.
You were more talking to Mitchell, too, who's doing all of the audio and all the mixing and
Yeah.
mastering at the time.
Mm-hmm. So I was just like in your vicinity a lot, and then I think I just
Yeah.
became interested. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think that led to like us hanging out and stuff. Also, Kendra was doing video at the time, and you were
Yes.
great friends with Kendra as well.
Uh-huh.
And so I was just trying to like regurgitate as much information to Kendra as I possibly could about like process or like I don't know how to do anything. I just know how to. I feel like I just know how to do things like the way that I do them, which isn't necessarily the right way, like at all. But
Yeah.
had like a somewhat of an established look, so just like talking to her about like just aesthetic choices, lens options, like sensor choices, like handheld movement, like all of that sort of stuff was just like constantly like up in the air. And I feel like you kind of caught on to that simultaneously too, which like I don't know, that it's a weird language to constantly be talking. But in the realm of like filming the same exact live session 200 times, like you just like cut your teeth on some of that, I guess, to a degree.
I love that you said weird language as a paraphrase of a made-up language. The way that you guys communicate, and in turn, I have started to communicate with you guys, especially creatively, but kind of in normal conversation, is just so absurd.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
real.
I don't know
Like,
what it is.
Yeah, it's some high frequency shit, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
God.
Sorry to. Literally, I think it definitely goes beyond the way that we communicate with one another. It goes beyond a normal. Like, we say things to each other in ways that are almost like guttural, that end up making more sense than like actual well-structured conversation I have with a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. And do you feel like you guys recognizing that in each other was just like something you fell into? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems so like you couldn't. Were you guys seeking that in someone, or was it just like you met or you started creating things together?
It was like this crazy accident that I was like, holy shit, like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
Like, it's literally like one of the, like, that weird little feeling of just like, oh, this is working. And like, this makes sense. And like, I don't even know why.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I feel like a high that like, I still like chase all the time.
Absolutely.
In terms of like making stuff, or like if making something that it needs to be good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like an immediate check for me. If that, like, that feeling that there almost really isn't a word for.
Yeah.
But if that's there, it's like, it just makes sense. And I feel like we kind of tapped into that for like, in a way that like felt like there was just like a spigot open.
Yeah.
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 And it was just
Yeah.
like, all right, no, let's just go fill up the bucket today. Like, we just got to go do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like constantly doing it.
I
Yeah.
mean, I have gotten so spoiled in working with you guys because of that exact thing you're describing. Like, it's so awesome to work with the two of you and to see how easily things come together because of that, just like connection in an unspoken way.
Yeah.
But it's like the most bittersweet lesson as well, because then when I've tried to collaborate with other people just in any creative way and that connection isn't there, I'm so much quicker to assume that spark isn't there. You know what I mean? And I'm a lot more critical because of how much we've all connected and shit,
Sure.
which is awesome. But sometimes it's a brutal reality that like connections with someone creatively are like at the level that I feel like we all have been able to connect is like, it's very rare. Like,
Yeah.
that's a rare, special, like you can't really cultivate that. Like, you can put a lot of people in a room together that agree on shit or like feel the same way about stuff, but like, I don't know. I mean, that's why it was crazy to meet you all, knowing now that you guys also were in the same space of like being like, holy shit, what's happening? This is so fun to meet you guys and then feel that immediate draw as well. Like that cosmic fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They told me the label told me that if I said cosmic more than 5 times on the podcast, I am on house arrest.
Can we get a whiteboard up? Just get a tally going. All right,
You
that's
guys-
one.
down.
Yeah.
One.
So just keep me tracked on that. Well, that's it's fucking
I think we're just
Cool.
like emotional people too. So like I think we connect on
yeah.
this emotional level that like. Also, we've talked. This
I don't
isn't
know,
like
man. I'm kind of hard to read.
yeah. No.
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 That's awesome.
At least that's what I feel like. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like we can
Absolutely.
absolutely read each other pretty easily, and
I've
I think
cried a lot with you guys.
yes, yeah. We love crying. We really do.
Good though.
Oh
I
god.
love it. I love it.
But I feel like that gives us like some kind of efficiency usually too. We kind of like skip past the bullshit of language in a way.
No,
It's
just
like
any response
we
at
don't.
all. It's like, pay attention.
Yeah,
Like, and
yeah.
we all know to pay attention.
Yeah,
Totally.
Like one of the things that like I remember you specifically like kind of like pushing on me when I was like starting to shoot things on your camera was just like it's all reactionary.
Yeah.
Just like, and I always see it as like a dance. Like with whatever you're shooting, like you have to be in tandem and like you have to be in life with it, you know?
Yeah,
like
because
you have to
that
react.
Yeah, that puts anybody watching it in your viewpoint of
Yeah.
reacting with somebody,
Yeah.
which is like that is connection.
Yeah,
I think.
because it feels so natural
Yeah.
and so like they can connect to that. It's like,
But
oh,
what
that feels kind of human.
What a delicate thing, though, because
Yeah.
when someone tries to do that, you see right through it, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I
feels
feel like we
a little
spend a lot of time talking about that sort of thing, and like, we all, I mean, I won't speak for you guys, but like, I get so frustrated when I see, knowing people like you that are just bleeding this stuff out and just flowing this like need to do this stuff, and then I see
It's
someone
vomiting.
trying to emulate that, and I can see them struggling with contriving that sort of emotion or like squeezing something really tight to try to get that emotion. It's so tough, and I just want to like, scream like, just let yourself do this, because that's a huge thing I've learned from working with you guys. It's just like allowing yourself like a good kind of pressure, good kind of pressure, only pressure in the sense that it matters to you and you want to do well because it matters to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For no other reason do you
No, I
want
agree.
to like
Yeah.
succeed or whatever.
I think that also like kind of touches on what you were talking about earlier. Was like emulation of something. I feel like is a lot harder than creation, just in the sense of like emulation feels like it's just me. Like I just have to like use my brain to like try to make something like something else, and it's like I feel like I'm alone in that in a way.
Yeah,
But like creating anything feels sort of above me, to where it's like I don't have to actually have control of this. I am just, it's like free flowing in a sense.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. Emulation seems a lot more technical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really
Just
great point.
so many things to think about too. I just feel like there's just so many more parameters that like you're immediately having to like fall into, which
You have
takes
to have a
away
lot of
that
knowledge
energy.
to
Yeah.
emulate and like
Research,
creating.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
don't
technical
entirely
skill.
have to know what you're doing.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I found so much fucking relief, man, like creatively as I've gotten older. Am I coming through loud enough, Drewby? I'm looking at my little thing and I don't know. Check. Oh, golden.
Real nice.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah, it looks a little low, but
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm very new to this game.
it's cool, man. You can compress the hell out of it.
Huge Duncan Trussell fan, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't know what compression is. So shut the fuck up.
I love compression.
Yeah, some people are doing it.
Yeah, that's right, dude.
Well, what I
We're
was
all
gonna
doing it.
say, fucking damn it, I kind of threw myself off. I was just saying, like, I've found so much relief as I've gotten older in just being like simplifying creative things in a way that relies on just like my soul and my personality, like the inherent parts of me, to drive the ship, like instead of relying on technicality a lot of times, like writing a simple song and just focusing more on not saying something that no one said before, but saying it in a way that really, really matters to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have learned a lot about that from you guys. And yeah, I feel like that's the most valuable thing that I've learned over time. But I found that by reverting back to who I was when I was young a lot of times. Like, I think
That's
we all
who you
know
are.
that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask, like, what was y'all's earliest experience with being like, I love creating, I love art? Like, what was that first time that you felt like I am sensitive and emotional and I kind of love that? Like, what was y'all's experience with that?
And that's a really good question.
Yeah. I can
Yeah, you go.
hear you thinking.
I mean, yes, I'm thinking.
We're all crying right now.
Just give me a second.
Am I stepping on your toes?
Give me a second.
I'd probably have to say cello for me. I started playing cello in 5th grade.
Wow.
And that was the first time, well, it probably wasn't until middle school when I started to realize, like, I feel, like, connected to, like, what I'm playing. And I was kind of, like, looking around at other people. And I kind of didn't see that most of the time. They were just, like, messing around in the back, you know? And,
Yeah,
like,
getting that credit.
yeah, spitting gum on the ceiling or whatever.
What
But
kind of school did you go to?
dude, our orchestra in middle school was in a portable.
What?
you know those like temporary portables?
Oh yeah, dude.
Shout
My
out
school
public
was like
schools
that
from the
too.
South.
Yeah,
Yo,
dude. What the
straight
hell?
up. My school was like that too, man.
It's wild.
Yeah, crazy.
An orchestra. Like what?
I mean, that's
we
that's
called it
some,
the
like-
shoebox, bro.
That's
It
kind of
had
tight.
really cool acoustics, actually.
damn.
Yeah, it was like this weird, like dead but slightly alive thing because the carpet was so like worn down that it was
Oh.
almost hard. Yeah, it was,
Carpeted portable.
yes,
Yucky.
dude. But yeah, I would say cello just because like all of a sudden I had this template. These like the sheet music was just like this template to express myself in a way that I haven't really felt before that point. So that's when I kind of got that taste of like the freedom. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like I can really lean into that forte, or
That's
like,
cool.
you know, like find, you know, like it really have like a dynamic like crescendo or whatever. And it was just like, it felt very freeing, and it felt like I was talking a new language all of a sudden, you
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what I feel like
Yeah.
shooting now. It's just
yeah.
kind of like playing music, you know?
Especially at that young age, having a means of communication that like you
Yes.
just may not be able to get through with words.
Yeah.
When you're like, you're just still literally learning how to talk.
Yeah.
Like
Still am.
powerful shit, man.
Yeah.
How about you, Joby?
I'm trying to think about like the first time that like creating or making something or like artistic like life gives me like an actual like emotional response, or like I began to like realize I was making things emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm almost kind of jealous of like that cello like interpretation because like I feel like if you could see that so early, how valuable that is. And like the more I think about it, the more I sort of realize also that my interpretation of most of the things I made was solely technical for a very long time.
You can just go here. I'll say what you're trying to say. Your DJ sets.
Yes.
Damn it.
All the bar mitzvahs.
Come on, man.
Sweet
Okay.
16s.
Spill it out.
That isn't exactly where my brain went. But, I did DJ in high school because I was trying to do anything even slightly entertainment related.
Yeah.
And there were no DJs in my town. But I also did like some local like commercials and stuff in high school for like an ice cream shop.
What?
And
I didn't know that.
yeah, there was like ads for like football games and stuff like that. But it gave me like a little bit of a background in editing.
Mm.
And I feel like editing was like kind of the first stage of like making stuff that I was like, oh, I like sort of like you were saying that there's more there than you realized, and that like you can kind of play just a little bit.
Mm.
And I feel like anytime play like enters art is like when like emotion quickly is just like, oh shit, no, you're over here now.
Yeah.
Like it kind of starts to drive whenever you're playing.
Mm.
Because like I don't know, you kind of melt away from it, and you're operating instinctually like when you play. And so that it didn't really manifest itself in any of those like commercials or anything, but like I started making like dumb skate videos like
Nice.
with my buddy Blake and Adam in high school.
That can't be
And-
what their names were.
I promise. I promise you. Blake and Adam, if you're listening to this, hello.
Classic. On your flip camera
Dude, yeah. on my
with the
flip-
USB
on my
port.
flip
Oh,
cam that I
don't-
could plug directly into my computer.
You have a good flip camera story too, right?
Yeah. I had a flip camera, and when my friend and I took it out to the ranch and
Yeah,
Yeah.
baby.
shot some great vids.
Dude, where are they?
They're not on the
get those
internet,
online.
thank God.
Oh man.
It's like us rapping and then like burning like an Elmo thing. Like it was that's it. And we thought it was like,
God.
damn, that was sick.
Dude, forget
Add some titles, put it on video.
It's done.
forget every forget every like spiritual and emotional thing we've said in this conversation. Like we're all just that person still.
Yeah.
Like we're all just still burning our Elmos
yes.
and like just wanting it to look cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, because when you guys were making that shit, you were trusting yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this
we're
feels
gonna-
right.
And that
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
unlocks some weird something.
That's what I'm freaking saying, dude. Yeah. That's so true.
Because like I was just thinking where we don't have to go into this, but like Ram Dass always says that
Uh-oh,
we're
here we go.
but like life is like just playing. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's all play, and I feel like when we channel like that play, like that's the most alive that like I feel, because
Absolutely.
that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, what
you
a
know?
relief to let go of the things that you only picked up because you were told you were supposed to care about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what a relief to play and to forget a little bit that, oh, yeah, at some point in my childhood, some adult told me to worry about this thing that I wasn't worried about before. So, like, to let go of that, and especially in creativity, is, like, so awesome, man. And I
Yeah.
mean, that applies to all of life.
Yeah.
Man. So, were you guys aware? Like, I feel like COVID has made me think a lot more about this kind of stuff, just everything that we're talking about.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you guys feel like you were aware of, like, how you were creating or your, like, methods before this time to, like, really be critical of yourself? Like, I guess maybe this is a good question. Where were you guys before everything slowed down?
Yeah.
Like, creatively and just, like, literally even.
I mean, I think there's no way that with all the time spent just sitting inside, you're not going to eventually end up like self-reflecting. So
Yeah.
I completely agree. Like I've had to. We joke and like we say we don't want to process some of the things that we make for like a couple years, but like definitely like 2020 made me like sit and just look in the mirror for a large part of the day, a lot of days.
Yeah.
But like I mean, it does give you a quick idea of like what do you want, like what are the good parts of the past like 8 years, what are the parts that like were a waste of time, and then I don't know, it doesn't take
Joey
long to-
Brodnax believing something was a waste of time?
Whoa.
Whoa.
I know. Or just like what would have been a better use
Yeah.
of my time, not
Yeah.
a waste. It got me here. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do it all again. But
Sure.
Even those ice cream commercials.
even those ice cream commercials,
Especially-
those ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cute.
Yeah.
Where were we going from there?
Just asking where you were at when everything slowed down.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe we shouldn't jump that far. Maybe I want to know. Let me put on my host hat for a moment. There's
Your
the
house hat?
host hat.
Oh. I'm wearing the headphones too.
Yeah, that's true, man. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, I guess I'm curious, like, I do want to know, like, where you guys were at before 2020 struck. But when did you guys kind of start feeling autonomous and, like, feeling like your lives were dictated by your creativity? Like, when did you guys really feel like you hit a stride? Like, together and individually.
I mean, I don't. It's hard to think about like art in life without also thinking about like just money, which sucks.
Mm.
But like once like something becomes your livelihood,
Yeah.
it like definitely takes on a completely different meaning of importance to you.
Sure.
So I don't know at what point we became autonomous, but like once I was like, I'm doing this to make a living. Like this is what I do. That's when I felt like I had the right to sort of be like, how I do things is correct, and I'm just going to do them this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a deliberate choice for you, right?
For sure, for sure. And in a hope that that payoff would be like an established sense of a way I do things going forward, so that there could even be a sense of like consistency in anybody that might want to work with me too. Like they could have an idea of like, okay, working with him looks like this, or it produces a certain type of thing because there's a process every time.
Right.
So I feel like in terms of like autonomy again, like it would have been, I don't know, 2018, 2019, somewhere
Yeah.
in there where we're like, all right, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
But for me, it was just like at that was like the first time I kind of like looked back and I was like, oh shit, I've been making enough money to live.
Yeah.
And like,
weird, right?
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing it. And then
Yeah.
the momentum just kind of carried through.
That is more similar to my experience with it as well.
Mm-hmm. You were just like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I literally every day, like I'm sitting in a chair in this house right now, and I'm like, I have a chair? Like, oh my God, I'm wearing clothes. I have this chair. No one will take this chair from me. Yeah, it's a weird thing to stumble through that, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could ever make such a hard choice. I think maybe for me, it's out of fear sometimes to like, especially me in 2020, like, and I'm interviewing you guys, so I don't want to be rambling on this, but I like would work. I mean, I've worked odd jobs throughout this year as well to like kind of remind myself that since music has not been something that I've been able to focus on in the same way, like physically, that I will be okay. So, I mean, have you guys had spells of that, or has it been pretty? I mean, obviously, this is something you guys have to do for like who you are as people. But like, what has your experience been with things changing and like your relationship with creating?
Yeah. I mean, well, I want to talk about like since a lot of the stuff we do is reactionary and like we were just saying, like, you know, I feel like the most alive when I'm just playing because that's just me, that's us, you know. Sometimes it's really hard to like separate myself from it, to where like sometimes like the work just feels like our world, like it's everything, which is probably not super healthy a lot of the times. Like I become extremely attached to these projects and these concepts and everything. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was just like, I've always kind of thought like that. So like I've always been trying to combat that, you know, and just remind myself like, bro, like this isn't everything. Like after this project is done, like there's going to be more to life. Yeah. Like I actually have to remind myself about that. So, I mean, I think COVID's just been that times 10, you know.
So hard to do.
Yeah.
So tough.
Oh yeah. Because you feel so attached to it. And like, it's like, this is my little baby.
Yeah. You little baby.
My little baby.
You love it.
I love it.
You want to kiss on it.
I want to kiss it.
We also had no idea if we'd have jobs still. Like when all this started almost a year ago.
For real.
Like I literally remember like coming up to work in March and then just like going and sitting back in Arkansas for the first time since I was 18 and just being like, what's happening? Like, is it all crumbling? Like, do people still want music videos? Does that even matter?
Oh,
like, are we
God.
post music videos?
Yeah.
Turns out we weren't, and that people do still need that stuff. But like,
need is the right word. Yeah. I called you during that time and said, I don't know what's going on, and you said, and I quote, "What?" And I said, "What?" And you said, "I can't hear you.
Bad reception.
I'm in a kayak."
I'm in the middle of a lake.
Dude, I kayaked for 3
and I was
months
like,
straight.
I remember calling you to freak out, and you were like, "Bro,
Sorry, the waves are loud.
I'm in the lake right now, listening to some music, hanging out." God, what a effing wild period of time.
Yeah.
So freeing for a little bit to be like, at the beginning of the year, for me, I felt so relieved to be like, I should be a real person for a minute. I shouldn't be tour mode Briston. Sure. I shouldn't be like, you know, this person I've been for the past couple years of my life. And that was so fun, for a couple months. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, like I've kind of been faking this like enlightenment, and I've been faking this like being okay with not being on the road. And dude, when it hits,
it's just scary.
It's
like,
my
wait,
God.
I've been lying to me,
to literally, to nobody else. Yeah. Like I was lying in the worst way to myself. And I mean, it wasn't like I acknowledged I was lying and then everything was good. Like it's like I acknowledged I was lying. And now I just am lying less. But like,
how to stop.
Yeah. I mean, that's a wild thing. That's a crazy, crazy thing. What were you guys doing other than kayaking, like, to explore that I'm a real person outside of art? Like, what what activities have y'all done to like get your to feel
Yeah.
human?
I mean, honest to God, as simple as it is, like I have talked to my family more in 2020 than I probably ever have. Like I call my mom and my sister almost like once a day now.
Yeah.
And not like I love talking to them. And before we talked often, but it was just like it was different. Like everybody was doing stuff,
Right.
and so like everybody was working nonstop. And now it's like 2 p.m. most days, and like one of them is just like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like it's like, well, kind of nothing. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Also nothing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And just being back, like being able to spend time with them was cool. I think everybody kind of naturally like wants like a break, especially if like you're on like 9 to 5 grind and you're just constantly like in that cycle. Like any idea of a break from that like feels like relaxing. And I think we felt a little bit of that at the start of quarantine, even if it was like this cocktail of fear too. But I was nice for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I think that realization of what you're talking about kind of begins to sit in, and you're like, maybe I'm not completely okay with everything, and I have to figure out how to be. Which honestly, like that process, which probably for me took about like a month, that process was like exceedingly like good. It very much helped me, and like in terms of like my emotional health alone,
Yeah.
I came out of that with this feeling of like honestly like almost being like carved. Like I felt like I was, it's like if I can figure out how to feel okay and be okay and like exist within this realm where everything is like spiraling and felt like it's on fire, and it's not a consistent thing. Like it's a constant battle. Like you
Yeah.
constantly have to like figure it out. But I after figuring out something that felt like it worked, which was literally just establishing a group of healthy routines in my life. But like figuring that out was like, okay, I can keep going. I can continue to make stuff. And that's when I kind of started to think creatively again about a lot of stuff, started listening to more music again,
So
started
it
working on more
it-
music again, and just kind of went, and it grew from there naturally again. And it was kind of like rebuilding yourself a little bit.
It led you back to your art, though. Like it led you back to doing what you wanted to do in a new way.
Yeah. It did feel kind of like a new way. It also was it felt like a chapter where I had more self-reflection than I had ever had on my own like previous work, just based on solely the amount of time that I could sit at home and just like think and talk and watch some dumb video I made with my dad on
Yeah.
the porch at 9 a.m. and him just go, well, why'd you do that? And me like, I don't know why. Like, I guess I just wanted this, and that. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh wait, I always do that. Like,
Yeah.
And then, I guess that whole summer, like, sort of spiraled into like you sending me the record, and like that was kind of the beginning stage of like the formation of thought for all the like conceptual stuff.
Yeah. Wonderful
Yeah.
segue. My
Yeah.
God.
Nailed it.
Good God. Because we're hitting. Yeah. Guys, we've been going.
Yeah.
Oh my
what
God. We've been talking for 3 hours.
Oh my God.
That is a beautiful segue into kind of the core of maybe what this whole podcasting is about. And that was a beautiful answer to that question as well.
It was.
The album,
Yes,
Sunflower. Oh my God, guys.
you said it.
I said it out loud.
There's an album,
There's an album.
a whole
And
one.
let me say this. It's very special.
I love it.
I
love
personally am going crazy for it. Well, let's talk through how it all began with the record process. Do you guys remember me sending you the record? Actually, before I ask some question that involves the word me, I do want to say thank you guys for your contributions creatively to this record.
hell
It was tight. It
yeah.
was fun.
It's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Golly. I mean, this has been the most fun I've ever had making stuff.
Yeah.
Like, literally, this has been the most fun I've ever had. And we've had some pretty fucking awesome times. But this has been so much fun. So, do you guys remember me sending you the record?
Yeah.
No.
That is exactly. I laugh so hard because that's exactly what I fucking expected. That's literally exactly how I knew that answer would be.
Oh man.
Maybe Drew should go first.
That was perfect.
Yeah, Drew.
I mean, I
in
don't
there.
remember like at the moment, but I remember you sending me.
I forgot to light the incense.
Oh dang, man.
Dude, that's so insensitive.
The
Very
opposite.
good.
You want a trophy for that one?
Damn, I kind of wanted that to be a sparkler.
Yeah, it's one of those birthday candles that doesn't go out. Let's get the lighter sound in there.
Wheezy.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah. I mean, I just remember getting the link and just listening to it for a week straight, and also being like, "This sounds different." Like, I think at that point, you had sent like, some demos to me, and probably like the first couple passes of like Deep Sea Diver. Honestly, I don't think it was a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, and some demos from like just your LA sessions, which I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a fun and cute idea, Briston. But then I was like, oh my God, all these songs are on the record. And I was like,
Yeah.
let's go. Like, I love it. Like, that's the sound.
Yeah,
So I think it was just like super surprising to me, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I also remember you being just kind of like, oh, I don't know, like,
Yeah, dude.
like the confidence I think like wasn't completely there, and I was like,
No, I was very scared.
but that made me. I was like, that's kind of exciting.
Yes.
Like, that's
cool.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because usually that's a sign of like, I just put it all out there. Like,
Yeah.
like
Totally,
like
yeah.
that was me. So I was like, this feels right.
Yeah, dude, that's wow. Thank you for saying that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was totally my relationship with it for a long time. Was
Yeah.
like, God, it was so much. It was veiled in a lot of shit, but it essentially was my fear that I had done everything I could do, and that it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
But that was veiled under a lot of me being like, well, I could have, I could have done more, and I held myself back and all this stuff. But eventually, it came around to being like, fuck, no, I did everything I think I was capable of doing on
Yeah.
this record, and if that's not enough, then like, damn. But like, I am so thankful for that now.
It's literally all you can do.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think I was nervous to send it to you guys because
I don't think you sent it to me. I think
The
you sent
record?
me bits and pieces, and then I remember
You
we had
did
a
ask
meeting,
a
and you
week
were like,
ago.
you have the link, right?
you did ask after we've made the 10 video
Yo, can I get the
short
record?
film. You were like, bro, can you drop me that? Do you have like a SoundCloud link?
You got a
I
link,
was like, are you
dog?
fucking kidding me? Damn. So what was the first thing we did visually for this record? Or actually, what was y'all's first impression, like, visually for the record? Like, what did it strike you guys in contrast to some of the stuff we worked on before?
A lot of questions there. I'm trying to think, like, in terms of the first impression visually of
Yeah.
the sound, like, entirely.
Did
Yeah,
you-
I'm kind
did
of
it-
curious to see what you have to say.
I
Yeah.
mean, it has to, like, just be landscapes.
Yeah.
Like that, like
Ah.
sitting out in Arkansas, just staring at, like, beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
That's, like, just huge and wide and, like, swallows you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
thinking about those songs and hearing those songs in those spaces, like, it just, like, is so perfect and, like, simple. And then we didn't communicate that, but you guys started working that visual board
Yeah.
on r.na
R.na arena.
and half of it was landscapes.
Yeah, I know.
Giant green open
Giant green
things.
spaces.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is really funny to hear y'all say that because the tracking was like on Sunset Boulevard by like the Chick-fil-A where all the crazy people are like crazier than they've ever been.
Yeah.
And it was just me like running to get curly fries and trying not to like
Cry.
get into craziness.
Yeah.
Like
I wonder if
which is
that
awesome,
like
but
influenced you to make that sound. Like,
Yeah.
do you think
I would
like was it an
definitely say-
escape?
I was
Yeah,
about
the
to say,
creation
I
of, like, a
feel like,
haven.
yeah, and it was, and John, who is the fucking man, like pushed us pretty hard to like. He definitely encouraged subconsciously me to make shit that mattered to me, and like was not a reflection of my environment, but like a reflection of what was going on in my head.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times is an emotional palette. Fuck me for saying palette, but emotional palette. There I go.
You can't say that word, man.
A cosmic
Two strikes.
palette.
My
Cosmic
cosmic
palette.
palette. But like an idea in my head that revolves a lot around nature and a lot around those landscapes. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that was just kind of what happened.
You kind of like just wandered
Yeah,
over there.
it
in
just
your mind.
happened, and then
It's weird.
God. So, when did you decide? I don't really remember timeline wise. When did you decide that a short film was the thing to do? That sounds like a scold.
I think you and I had made like projects already where we tied videos together.
Right. Yeah, the
and
Indiana
there-
stuff was all intertwined. Loosely, but
loosely, but conceptually they were thought about in the same way, in the same space, and like in terms of what the videos did,
Right.
like I wanted them to feel like they worked together. So just that like idea of connection was something I was like, okay, we have a whole record here, and for the first time we have time to like see it as a whole record,
Yeah.
not as singles. And I was like, more or less, why not like connect all of them into this thing that works together to build like something that's bigger than itself. And I think I kind of just started diving in from there. It was like, let's do it. Let's just connect all of these in like any way that we can find.
yeah.
And we can go into those breakdowns now, or we can like kind of keep dancing around it too.
Break it down.
I think we should break some shit down. What was the first?
Wait. Hold on. Check. Okay. I
You
just
got
wanted to
it.
make sure I was speaking into the
Yo.
right side of the microphone for this whole
Okay,
thing.
I got tape on the back.
Yeah.
Yo.
I didn't know if that was front tape or back tape. You know?
That's back.
Oh,
tape.
Okay.
yeah. No, people, especially, that's like a Southern thing, man.
Yeah. Is that front or back tape, sir?
Yep. Big time. Dude, Samia being here has brought out a side of me that, like, I say shit like that where I'm like, oh, it's a Southern thing. And she's like, no, that's just
No,
weird.
those are just-
Like, front and back
This
tape
is just a
is...
sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a Southern thing to cut the crusts off. And she's like, no, you're just immature emotionally.
Mowing the lawn. That's a southern thing.
Oh, you
yeah.
wouldn't get it.
What, you want a glass of water? Sorry, in the South, we're always drinking water, man. It's like, what? That's like essential to life.
You want ice? I gotta ask. You know?
Sorry, it's a thing.
It's a southern thing.
The first video that we made was Deep Sea Diver, which was also the first thing that we had done in a minute.
Yeah.
Right? We'd
Yeah.
done the live session stuff earlier in the summer, huh?
Yeah, which was a good like test to get back into.
be like,
oh,
can
this
we
is what it
still
feels like to be in a
do
room
this?
with other people.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those things felt so weirdly fragile to me, and I
Oof.
didn't even understand why. Part of it was probably like own like personal insecurities and
Sure.
everything else, but I was like, these like matter inherently,
Yeah.
just by the fact that like we can have figured out how to like make something in this time.
Mm.
And I was like, because I still like with everything that I did this year, it was like there was this air of like this is impossible.
Yeah.
And I was like, we have to figure out how to do this stuff safely and like in a way that like people aren't going to get hurt and still like keep that spark somehow. And like, it's always like, I feel like whenever you're on set or when you're trying to do something, you're trying to like bring people into this world that's like comfortable to where they can like act a certain way, but like really more than anything, just like be comfortable and trust themselves and
Yeah.
like kind of separate from everything. And I mean, this year more than others, it's been very hard to like separate.
Sure.
And I think we've ran into that on multiple shoot days where it's just like almost taking a couple hours to be like, yeah, all right, we just got to breathe for a second. Like,
Yeah.
because look, like, oh yeah, the world is still out here and all this stuff is happening. And
Totally.
I don't know, I'm rambling a bit there, but
No, that's totally understandable. I relate completely.
those live sessions were definitely important. I
Yeah.
think in
I think you
us
said it.
just getting back to like, oh, this is our pace.
Yeah.
Like this is how we respond to each other in real time.
Just a reminder of
and
that
and
dynamic.
it still works.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, we're just stretching to get back in it.
yeah, it was like stretching.
And you were stretching those cello fingers.
You-
For
you-
those,
you-
for anyone who has seen the Freaking Out on the Interstate acoustic session, that was Drew, the masked cello player.
Masked man.
Like, I didn't realize how, like, much of a statement, or just like how much of a character the masked cello man would be. It's a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
Comment section is full of praise for the masked cello
Who
man.
the hell is that?
We should do a comic or something.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm literally gonna do that,
How
and
about
I'm gonna copyright it before you.
Okay.
So
Damn.
so suck it.
All right, man.
So take
I'll
that.
start preparing my lawyers.
Welcome to
sir.
LA. What was your experience when we started shooting again? What was your experience with the deep sea diver video? Maybe let's focus on that one, and we can talk a little bit about the trip too, Joey. But
Yeah,
that
I
was
think
one
it
that we
kinda
were all really
opens
collaborative
up
on. So
naturally,
like,
too, when you
yeah.
have the chronology of us like making it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what was? I mean, do you remember the day that we shot that video?
Oh yeah, dude. It's pretty hot.
Entering.
But
Oh
I
my
wasn't wearing a
God.
ghillie suit or a pink onesie.
Oh, and I'd do it
So-
again in a heartbeat.
Also, all the tennis stuff though. Also hot.
Oh yeah,
tennis
and
stuff
the-
was
tennis
insane.
stuff.
Oh yeah,
Tennis stuff was our technical first day.
yeah, that's right. The tennis stuff happened first, and then we went out. Yeah.
Out into the field.
Damn.
Out in the field, man. Shit gets real fast out there, dude.
That was a wild day. The tennis.
The tennis court. We all need to collectively do the thing we all know we need to do right now, and thank Rip.
Rip.
Yeah.
I almost said Chip.
Oh, that's not his
Rip.
name.
It's not. It's Rip.
So for anyone who has seen the Deep Sea Diver music video, or anyone who's still listening at this point,
Really, anyone.
anyone, dear God.
Oh, please.
For anyone who has seen the Deep Sea Diver music video, the choreographed dance tennis scene, choreographed by Ashlyn, I don't think Tierney. I don't think I've ever said her last name out loud. Ashlyn Tierney.
Yeah.
Out of fear of mispronouncing it, she choreographed that dance wonderfully. Hudson McNeese, also who will be in an episode of this podcast, was a dancer there in that shot. Anywho, that was a private tennis court that we rented out for a crazy price, cheap price, from a man named Rip and his beautiful family.
Yes.
Rip, if you are listening to this podcast, I love you.
We love you.
We all love you, man.
Thank you.
Rip was so kind and made that day so funny and so fun. And that man flew his drone with precision and passion.
Flawlessly.
Anything else?
Well,
Without warning.
yeah,
Without warning.
And you used it, bro.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
And
this is
the thing is,
absolutely going in the
so
cut.
so Rip,
This is great,
Rip
Rip.
halfway
Thanks.
through, sweet Rip halfway through this shoot day. They'd been so helpful and gave us snacks and water and all sorts of things. They had a daughter that was so cute. She was so sweet, so funny. Rip, halfway through the day, just struck a new level of comfort and wanted to come and join us and fly a little drone around with the camera on it while we were filming the music video. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit confusing at first. Just like this, I just didn't expect that to happen.
We don't
but
normally have drones.
We don't normally have a Rip. So we ended up though using a drone shot that Rip took,
a lot.
and I can't watch that shot without the memory so beautifully. And if they're listening to this, I genuinely thank you guys so much for this memory. Rip flying the drone, getting in there for a good shot, and his sweet partner coming outside and saying, "Rip, land it." And him going, "1 second, honey, I'm going to get the shot." And her going, "Land it."
Rip landed.
But that's what made that day special.
That was great.
And I feel like, man, that set the vibe for everything that we did.
Yeah, we didn't ask
For
them to do that.
We didn't ask anyone to do anything. We didn't ask anything of ourselves other than showing up.
Go and start.
Go just get there, do whatever you got to do to be full of energy. And if you're not full of energy, do whatever you got to do
And just keep making good
to
decisions.
be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And trust yourself and trust what's going to happen. And man, that set the tone for every video that we made
For sure.
on in this short film, and everything that this record to me was supposed to represent. It was just like, just connecting with that beauty that comes so quickly when you accept that things are not going to go the way that you thought they were going to go a lot of times.
Yeah,
And
that's that feeling, the whole basis for all of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that freedom of letting go of that just by choice
Yeah.
is unreal, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that is my favorite part of all of us collaborating together. It's just like letting go. No one is like just breezing through and letting things happen as they happen. Like, I think all of us are making a deliberate choice to be like, fuck, it is hard sometimes. Like, for me, I'm like, this is so hard if it's not feeling exactly like I thought it was going to feel or going exactly how I thought it was going to go. But then being like, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
Probably nothing right now. So, like, I need to let go of this. That choice, and knowing that you guys have my back in making that choice, and in all ways we all have each other's backs when we make that choice, is why I think that we were able to make some cool shit.
And
Like-
yeah, you can, once you do that, you can make shit that's above you. Like,
Mm.
that's bigger than
Yeah, it's not yours.
Bigger than all of
it's
us.
happening
Yeah.
because it
It's
needs to
like-
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
You're
that's a great way to say
allowing
it.
it to grow past yourself.
Yeah.
And because you trust that you can
Yeah.
in this weird way. And so once you do that, you can.
Yeah.
I've spent so much time this year too, just like, or last year, really just thinking on that. And I feel like in terms of like search for beauty, that process as a whole is what sort of enlightened all of the concepts for the record itself.
Mhm.
And I think spending time just like looking at why and how we did what we did before this record too was another just like huge source of like inspiration for it.
Yeah.
In terms of finding beauty. And then I think it kind of turned into this like mad like hunt for like sources of beauty.
Literally.
And that's sort of where like I started like just doing quick like online research and listening to some podcasts on just like aesthetic choices and like beauty choices in art and like what like why things are beautiful, like why humans believe certain things are beautiful. And that kind of led to actually like a physical concept
Yeah.
for like all of the videos and how they would begin to get stitched together.
I think that's so cool to hear you say that, because for me, creatively, so many times, like, it's just so funny how inarticulate I can be with creative things. Like, you literally did research to figure out, like, what constructs beauty for a human. And for me, I feel like I'm constantly in this state of, like, I don't fucking know, dude. Like, it makes me feel something. So, like,
I mean,
that's why it's beautiful. But, like,
that's right too.
but
like,
the things that I'm not like, that does limit me to, like, it's this fear of understanding it, maybe. Because, like, if I understand it, then it's not as mystical. But then I feel like the balance between you and I
feel like it gets
discovering
more
that.
mystical once you understand it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
anything
because
at,
it's
like
like-
at scale is like indistinguishable from magic. Like
Yeah.
once you drill down far enough or go large enough.
Totally. And I learned that through this process of, like, knowledge does not mean, like, that you have reached the end of a road. It means you have, for better or worse, opened a door to everything in the entire universe. Because if you know a
Yes.
fact, what is that fact? Like, what does that even mean?
Exactly. And in terms of like opening that door,
Right.
I think is what we were trying to do. I think we were trying to like, because I have definitely like began to see that like there are different doors
Yeah.
to get you to the same spot.
Totally.
And I think like this project was an attempt to sort of put labels on some of those doors.
Yeah.
And like break down them like
Yeah.
in terms of like how they got there, why they got there, and how we found them too.
Yeah.
This is all 10,000 foot view stuff, and like looking at the project as a whole, like
Sure.
you can just watch them and enjoy them as fun music videos. But
Right. Which I'm like equally as stoked about, that people can maybe just see this and realize that like, we were having fun.
yeah,
Like, and I think that's a great segue, Joey, to like maybe talk about, for both of y'all to talk about the avenues that we took, because Drew, my favorite contribution of your many contributions to all of this was the roller coaster video, which could not be more different just physically than a lot of the stuff that Joey and I were capturing on that trip that we took. So I want to talk about, let's talk about the trip,
yeah.
and then in contrast how the fuck you pulled it off to make
In my
a
room.
completely digital music video feel as real as a literal cross-country road trip.
And to feel like the answer to it as well. Like it's like this perfect
Yeah.
Parallel.
like balancing act.
So Joey and I and my roommate Sawyer, who just so willingly hopped on to this trip knowing nothing about how much his ass was about to be kicked by life
Sorry,
in this
Sawyer.
moment. Sorry, Sawyer. Damn, dog.
You guys cool with going to sleep at 2 a.m., waking up at 5, driving another 12 hours, shooting for 5.5 hours, getting back in the car and doing it.
And
tomorrow?
also,
Like,
and
I'll
also,
hold this the whole time.
also, you're on camera.
also park the car. I need to film here as well. Like,
Yeah. Also, you never been through a toll before? Well, figure it out.
Hey, I'll keep talking. I need to pee.
Okay, keep going. You can pee here.
Okay.
Why did I say keep going? Like you were already peeing. Keep going. Don't stop peeing. So we took the trip. We planned out roughly a small trip where Joey, Sawyer, and I were going to go from Nashville, Tennessee to Kentucky, where we filmed in an underground
it's a
cave
flooded-
river, a flooded cave system.
Yeah.
So we filmed some stuff there.
Privately owned.
Privately owned, rented out.
Flooded cave in Kentucky.
Shout out Sup, Kentucky,
Yes, at the Red River Gorge.
at the Red River Gorge. Filmed some stuff in a cave there. Blasted our way up to Maryland, filming all along the way.
Yeah, West Virginia as well.
West Virginia, yeah.
Met some like roadside demons in
Yep. Yep.
West Virginia.
The freeway video was a lot of the early days of that trip, right?
Yeah.
So
No, that trip in my brain was broken into 2 parts.
Right.
Basically, it was freeway and It's Still Cool If You Don't, which conceptually was failed alchemy into meaninglessness.
Right. So basically, in non-Joey and Briston and Drew terms, insanity and a road trip.
Yeah.
So I feel like
During
we could
COVID.
not during COVID,
Which
also.
was this
So to do
crazy
so,
look at the whole country as well. Like,
yeah, absolutely. But I don't think that we would have felt any of, like, I don't think we could have captured any of that without going to Maine, which was kind of like the final, in my mind, was like the core of visually of those landscapes and of what stuff on this record stood for. Like my fondest memories of the entire process were
Yeah, we were out there looking for beauty.
the boat day, like
running around searching for it.
literally searching. So like, I mean, my favorite day of filming was the boat day.
Yeah.
So the freeway video, there's
Impossible.
some shots of, yes. Oh, it was ridiculous. And I still physically, I shit you not, I am still physically in pain from that trip. I have a shoulder injury that is permanent because of a shot that we did on that trip. But basically that day we met up with our boy Yannick, who lived in Bar Harbor, Maine,
Yes.
and ran the damn city. I don't care what he tells you. He knew what was up. He took us out on a little boat, and we hopped from island to island on the most beautiful day you've ever seen in all of history, filming this like pristine world and capturing exactly where we were at, which was like emotionally where we were at, which was like insanity.
It felt like the edge of the world.
Yeah, we were burning every emotional every ounce of emotional fuel that we had in the most beautiful place in the world
Yeah.
and filming it, essentially.
No, the single shot of like you out on like that point at the like tip of Maine,
Yeah.
like, out on the water on the island, and then Yannick took the boat probably like 300, 400 yards away,
Yeah.
and we just come in going like full throttle.
Yeah.
And I'm literally like holding my camera and tripod, like just like bouncing up and down, like with every single wave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Yannick knows what he's doing. Like we won't, like I won't go flying into the water. But like part of my brain was like, I don't even
You
care.
good?
Like, like if I lose this camera and everything, and like it's all just like whatever. Like
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
My God.
You could probably fish out the memory card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was like it'll be fun.
Put it in rice.
Look
Yeah,
at-
put it in rice.
Look at where we are.
Yeah.
I don't know. That
And
was
to-
like
for me to get
pure
on that-
adrenaline. I think like that we somehow still managed to work into our weird like vacuum process.
Right. And my God, dude, like, I honestly wouldn't have cared if the camera hadn't have been on that whole time. Like, that day was just so fun. Like, I feel like we were all so cosmically getting to do, like, the most fulfilled version of what we love to do. Like,
Yeah.
you got to blast through the ocean on a boat holding a tripod, capturing beauty. I got to go hop around on some rocks with some seagulls and feel like the guy from Into the Wild. And like, I loved how much we got to play into the accentuated versions of ourselves
Yeah.
on
There's-
that trip.
'cause
Like,
there was literally no other reason for us to be there.
no. And it like,
at all.
dude-
And all of us knew that, and we're just kind of like frolicking
but
in it.
yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit.
No, we were frolicking is literally it. That's going to be the name of this episode. Is frolicking.
Frolicking.
So, yeah, I mean, that trip was unreal. And I think we made a decision, and I want you to speak on this more, but we made a decision from like now on, like big projects or really just any project, like should be a trip.
Yeah, get out of your head, like physically as well, like, and just go somewhere new.
Yeah.
Even if it's a different part of your town, like just
Yeah.
go somewhere new.
Yeah.
Drew, you want to pitch Rando Nautica?
All right, so there's this app, right? And
We should get them to sponsor this.
dude,
They would.
they
right?
totally would.
I hope they
Sponsored
do.
What
by
is
Rando
Rando
Nautica.
What is Rando Nautica?
It is basically a computer generated point within a certain radius of your location that these quantum computers in Australia, I think.
Yes.
I also have to pee. But
Compute?
continue.
No, I can talk about quantum computing for some time.
Well, maybe share. Is this the thing where you guys had the dinosaur experience? Tell a brief second of that story.
Yes. Okay, so you log onto the app and you set a radius. Also, I didn't flush, so I didn't want to have a flushing noise in the podcast, so there's pee in the toilet. So yeah, you plug in your location, set a radius of like, it's like up to a mile or 10 miles.
Something like that.
Or it's like 10 kilometers or something. But then a computer in Australia generates a number set, which like converts it to a coordinate within that radius. And then you're supposed to go to that coordinate
And find what you're looking for.
and find what you're looking for. Yeah.
Which you can be looking for anything you want.
Anything. You just have to set that intention.
And saying that out loud sounds so stupid. And then just going into the world and crossing your fingers that what you're looking for will just happen upon you. You are mind blown when it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we even tried a couple times. Like we tried to find food. That was like our main thing. Like we were trying to find food, like good food. And it was just leading us to like people's backyards.
Which maybe there was good food there. Maybe it was correct.
True.
But
True.
it doesn't, I feel like it doesn't always work. But there's also this, it's that belief of like, well, if you just keep looking, like you will
You gotta find something.
something.
Yeah. And we did.
And that's Rando Nautica, and that's why we found how big would you describe that architectural dinosaur in
Yeah.
the middle of a random neighborhood for no reason?
Yeah, it was basically it was like a private cul-de-sac essentially, where this house was at the very bottom of it, and like at this like roundabout at the bottom of the cul-de-sac was a like full-scale Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton. And this is like 3 blocks away from where I used to live, so it was very jarring. I was not expecting that, and it was like attached to this mansion too. It was ridiculous, but we found something. It was great. So Rando Naut.
Y'all's ability to use technology in a way that's fun like blows my mind, dude. Like
So important.
I'm so skeeved out by computers a lot of times. And like just like I mean, I think we've laughed very hard a lot of times in this episode, but probably one of the harder times we've laughed today was you guys just acknowledging that I have a laptop now. Like, so I'm fascinated by the fact that you guys can be creative using something that is so, like, can take you out of an environment, especially a natural environment, and, like, intertwining those two things, which, boom, fucking segue from heaven right here.
Another one.
How the hell did you, Drew, go on from, in contrast with this trip that Joey and I took, where we were outside basically the whole time?
Yeah.
How did you see that, feel something from that, and then head the digital space video for Roller Coaster so elegantly? What was that?
I mean, yeah, it was definitely like a trip of my own. Like it felt like. Also, this is like it was a big learning experience for me too.
This was the first time you did that shit, right?
Yeah, this was like the first project that I did completely, just like CG stuff, and I kind of like cut corners here and there, but like that's also how I learned video, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what shaped how I ended up shooting, you know. So
Cutting corners can carve most efficient form.
there you go, baby. We sculpting out here.
That's why I steal all my lyrics. It's easier that way. No one will stop you.
Yeah,
they
that
don't
won't
know.
catch up to you.
Uh-uh.
I don't think it will. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I had to just learn a bunch of shit, so that felt like a trip of its own. And then I just love the environment of creating in a digital space.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, dude, you made a video digitally that was like, I think why it fucks with me so much is because you made a digital video that is like portraying nature.
Yeah, it feels
in-
just as physical as everything else.
Yeah, but it's like in the eeriest, kookiest way. Like it's so wild to see basically just everything that Joey and I experienced on that trip run through a computer, like, and come out like a little bit jagged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like quality wise, but like
Right.
sentiment and like, yeah. I mean, it's like,
Feel a little bit more manufactured.
yeah, but
with
in
it.
such a beautiful way.
Yes. Yeah.
Did
Oh,
you
what sort of way?
a beautiful way?
Beautiful way. All right, cool.
Beautiful way.
Beautiful.
Sorry, I've got a fruit leather in my mouth.
What
It's-
flavor?
Oh, I thought those were pepperonis.
Yo, sorry, I had to. Something hit me, man. You started talking about computers, and my brain went straight to salami.
Peps.
These are like apple chupacabra flavors.
Fruit leathers.
Fruit dots. Dude, these are 59 cents at Trader Joe's.
TJ's.
Whoa! I used to get some. Do you ever get like the package like single?
Don't come at me.
All right. Cool. Cool.
What kind did you get? What did you say you
Your
got?
recommendation?
I'm a big fruit leather guy. It's
I'm a big fruit leather guy.
It was like those individual package ones.
Yeah, I have those too.
Those are great.
They're really good. I'm
Good
doing Whole
substitute for-
30 right now.
Oh, really? What day are you on?
4. This is usually where I quit.
Yeah.
Whole 4. But it's damn funny to say, yeah, I was trying to do Whole 30, ended up doing the Whole 4.
You always get a laugh with that.
Well, that's a southern thing.
Yeah. That's right.
Podcast, baby. Lots of callbacks. So,
What are we talking about?
Wow.
Roller coaster.
I-
We were talking about your video.
Yes.
What
Oh,
the fuck was
and
going
how
on
it
in your head?
Contrast.
So-
Where
so-
did that come from?
Yeah, so let me explain, like, so the look of it. So if you see the video, you'll see that, like, a lot of the objects look, like, pretty, like, real, but, like you said, not.
Right.
And that's because I ended up using this thing called, this technique called photogrammetry, which is literally, you take an object in the real world, take a bunch of pictures just, like, around it, like, circling it, like 70 pictures from all these different angles, and then you throw all those pictures into a software, and then it spits out a 3D model of that real world object, and it's textured with the pictures you took. So it looks like this realistic thing, but there are mistakes that the computer makes. So you have like random little bumps maybe in the object, or like the texture's not really right, or like maybe part of the image like repeats. So there's like these little hints at like, hey, this is made up, like this is not real.
Spooky.
Yes, yeah. I mean, not really the uncanny valley, but like just this lurking feeling of I want to believe it, but I can't.
There are tells. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's asking you to believe it, though.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's
especially the cube, man.
Cube
That guy,
head.
like, I feel like I don't want to piss the cube off.
Yeah.
In that video,
Really a separate character.
like he's literally like, I don't want to make him mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's crazy, man. He's off.
Hey, y'all. I don't know what the fuck happened at this part of the podcast. I lost a section of it. So if you're here, sorry about that. But I think it just kind of picks up in a really drifty, cool way. Okay, bye. Hear you guys come up. I routinely hear people praising you guys for your connection to what you do and your passion for what you do, and how obvious it is that you guys fucking love what you do. And that is amazing and so well deserved. And I want to ask you guys, like, how do you want your art to sit within our community? Like, what are y'all trying to accomplish with everything that we've talked about today? Like, what's your goal? Or do you have a goal? Or do you think people should have goals?
I mean, it is very like simple in terms of I just love making stuff like that. Like is generally like my intro into me, or if I had a bio, that's like what I kind of want it to say is like fundamentally like I get a crazy amount of joy from just making stuff, and especially with my friends. And so any opportunity that presents itself to where I can fall into that process, like I'm gonna take it. In terms of like a takeaway from like what we do, though, I don't know if I'm thinking about it in those terms when I'm making things. I think if anybody wants to take away the fact that like it is achievable, like in anything that you kind of want to do with like art like this is. I think people can trust themselves. Like I think sending that message of just like start and trust yourself and see what happens, and you'll probably be a little amazed. Like would be the biggest message that I would want to like implore upon people. But I don't know. I mean, it can mean different things to different people whenever you watch it. Like,
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, literally. I mean, right off of that, like, what I want people to take away from like my art, and like when they watch a video that we make or something, like I want them to be like, "Wow, that was good," and why?
Yeah, let it sit with you for a minute.
Yeah.
And, like, if there's rewatch value, which hopefully there is, like you watch it again, and then suddenly like you pick up on different parts. Like, I want it to be something that lasts and that like feels like it'll be like a cool thing. Like, I mean, everybody wants to make art that's timeless, but like, in a sense that is what we're trying to do too. Is like if it's simple decisions based off of like emotional connection, like it generally works.
Yeah.
And just pushing that narrative, I think, to other creators is important because, like, I mean, that's how I happened across it too. And I think a lot of us is like, we naturally liked things that we saw other people made. And it was like, okay, how do they do that? And then it like you literally physically like fall into it sometimes.
Yeah. And also another thing, I just feel like we tend to like to make videos that kind of feel like an activity for the viewer.
Yeah.
Like it's this kind of active thing that they're participating in.
Yeah.
And I think just like growing up, I mean, all of us growing up in the South, we grew up in a culture where you might have to pull some teeth to get some introspection from some people.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
that, I think that's one of my main motivations of just like, yeah, let's just like make something that we think is great and really not think about it further than that if we don't want to, you know, just because that will push other people to maybe think more about themselves, or like, why did I relate to that? Or like, why did I like the look of that? Like, why am I staring at this right now?
But it's that process of asking why.
Yeah.
That, like I constantly want people to like come back to with
Yes.
anything that I make.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the emotional baseball tee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
letting people feel like you were, man, I was just writing down some thoughts about this before you guys got here, literally. Like the importance of, I was asking the question of myself, is it more important to ask good questions to become close with someone, or to be so honest that someone feels comfortable enough to then provide a part of themselves to you in a relationship?
Has to be both, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of the two, but I think it seems like with y'all's art, intentionally and just as a product of what y'all do, like you said, with the pulling teeth thing to get someone to maybe be emotional about something, like I'm thinking of just like our parents sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but showing them our openness and the way that you guys visually see things, like giving them a clear look into that opens up a door for them to like accept the openness of your heart, and then in turn want to like be as open.
Yeah.
You know what
do
I
the
mean?
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I definitely see y'all's work have that effect
Cool.
on people.
That's awesome.
That's very kind of you to say also.
Whatever.
Thank God.
Y'all
Mm.
are.
Literally,
Also,
thank
you
God,
you both are stupid, and I
You're
wanna.
stupid and I
I'm
hate
gonna.
you. And I love you.
I'm gonna. Yeah. I'm gonna fucking
Oh
get
my
you.
God. That was terrifying.
Man, that's cool that y'all have thought about that too. That goes into what you do.
Yeah. I feel like this project specifically too. Like, I mean, I've never sat in a project as long as we sat in this one. So like, that was a lesson
Same.
in and of itself to me artistically. Like
Endurance.
that, but all definitely endurance. Like seeing it in so many different phases as well. Seeing each other working on it in so many different phases. Like literally, you are like two different characters of yourself, if not 3 or 4. Like throughout the process of making this, like that shows like a level of like growth that I don't think projects that I've worked on in the past have had, simply because there wasn't an allowance of that. Like with time, or
There wasn't
logistics.
time to grow a beard and shave it
Yeah,
off. Like
exactly.
literally.
Like,
yeah.
we sat in this for like 6, 7, 8 months at this point, like since we first really started. And most music videos that I've worked on for the past like 8 years have a 2-week, 3-week turnaround window.
If that.
Yeah,
And that's
like,
2 days of shooting, and then
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean, and then y'all busting your asses.
yes. So
in
that
post.
I really do feel like there's like I have a deep relationship with this project at this point, where it's like I have grown with it and like loved it and hated it and been mad at it and then like punched it and then it punched me back and then like
and then hugged
and then
it.
like cry late at night and be
Yeah.
like, oh thank God, like you do love me, like
yeah. And then like been driving in silence with it, and then you just like reach over and hold its hand.
yeah, exactly.
And that's all you gotta fucking
Yeah,
say to let it know. Like you don't have to say anything at that point. It just looks at you and goes, "I know."
exactly,
I know.
exactly.
Just
God.
exchange a little smile.
Yeah. God.
I think also just like to make sure this is stated, since we've really kind of talked more about Deep Sea and Roller Coaster, being like landscapes versus digital worlds, which is interesting that that's the first ones that we felt needed to like
Oh,
really
yeah.
kind of hone in on. That like difference between the two of them is sort of like a running theme in all of this project for me, is like the inverse of something allows for perspective of that exact thing. So like you can't have good without bad, you can't have bad without good, like that, like simple play. So I feel like once, when we were concepting all this stuff, like once we had established like sources of beauty, it was very naturally like the project sort of like just gave me the answer to the rest of it, once I realized that you had to have the opposite of something to understand what you're trying to dissect and put on a table.
Right.
And I'm just going to go through and list sort of the sources too, just like by video. So like if we're starting with Deep Sea Diver and having landscapes as a source of beauty, and that was kind of based in very simply like human evolution story, and that we like kind of grew up as like savanna based like tribe animals. And this idea that like a perfectly green like landscape is something that you inherently view as beautiful, because even in countries where they don't have it, like where like the geography isn't what would be considered a like beautiful lush green landscape, generally with like a center path down the middle that leads you to water, like that image inherently in your human brain is seen as beautiful because it was needed by much of humanity.
Right.
That made like flipped my brain. And once I like had that, not realization, that's like found through research, but once I happened upon that, I was like, oh my God, like we are not in control of this.
Dude, it's Baby Shark.
Yeah.
It's like little kids loving Baby Shark for some weird reason.
Yeah.
That just like hugs their brain, their little tiny brains in the most like primal way. It's straight sensory blast.
It does. It feels like a hug, because like the chemicals in your brain are used to responding to that through thousands of years. Yeah. But that idea that I can look at this thing that I see beautiful, but to see that beautiful thing, I have to understand what isn't that. I think is important to understand the play between like landscapes and then digital spaces. And then like continuing through the videos, we kind of went into human enchantment being another very simple source of beauty, just in the idea that like humans can turn anything beautiful if you see it that way. And then we sort of began to work through what that looks like when it doesn't happen, which led us to failed alchemy for the freeway video. Another source was skilled displays, which is sort of the idea that anything done correctly is like deemed beautiful, or any even conversation, like if it's done well, people can view it as beautiful. They all are interconnected, but like putting like simple labels on them really, really helped me work through them separately. The opposite of skill displays being hidden internalizations, so the parts of process that you don't show, and like the thoughts that you have when you aren't trying to display like that, you have to have those as well, in order to showcase beauty. And then from there we went to art for Say My Name, and art just being the very simple definition of why is art art, and art is art because art is art.
Yo.
Like
Word.
you see it as beauty because it's art. That's how you look at it. Inverse of that being trash. And then finally heading to all of the sources of beauty that I couldn't really put my finger on. And I think that's what we spent a lot of time talking about, is that feeling, because it's almost like there isn't language for it. We don't have words to describe what some of that is sometimes, but it's there and it's very real. And I think that is kind of what all fumbled together to become like the ineffable spirit. And that was for the kids. And then finally the inverse of that feeling of connectedness and universality and everything manifested itself in the inverse of meaninglessness for It's Still Cool If You Don't. And I think that's 10. I think that's all 10.
Yeah, that sounded.
But those themes that like just sound like very wordy, like those themes like literally drove the car the entire time that we were like driving around the United States. Like whenever we clicked record, I had a conceptual guide in my brain for whatever we were doing and how to justify it and what to look for when we're looking for a certain type of beauty. It really like it put the project in a completely different headspace of mine that like I'd never got to really. It was a new way of looking at the world to a degree, and I think I still feel some of that and some of those takeaways from just like traveling around looking for that stuff. And like it's really simple, but because for a while we didn't know that the record was called Sunflower.
No, I
But
don't
we
know.
knew it was a strong symbol.
When did that come into play? At what point? I don't even remember really deciding.
Well, something that I thought was just so funny was how often we ran into sunflowers
Yeah.
on that trip.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
and I finally realized it's like, it's not that they're like just littered everywhere. It's like, it's because we're looking for them.
Right. Yeah, we're putting ourselves in
And that
these
idea
situations.
of like, just like, it's all out there.
Dude,
Like,
the power. Yeah.
if you just go looking for it.
The power of like, the power of wanting a certain life for yourself, for better or for worse, is so real. And
Yeah.
like, that's the fastest way to get what you want, is to just like set your mind on something and then make all of your decisions like revolve around your moral compass of like what you find beautiful and what you don't agree with. And like, yeah, I mean, we were searching, like you said, for beauty.
Like, where were we in the middle of like some suburb in like Maryland, like going to FedEx to
Oh
buy
my God.
bubble wrap or something, and then it was just like across the street was like 200 yards of like just sunflower
straight
fields.
sunflower action.
And I was like,
yeah,
God damn.
no reason for that to be there.
yeah,
at all.
Literally, it was like
It's like
It
this
was
is a
funny.
residential area.
it was funny on that trip too, when we'd be so fucking. Actually, this does not apply to you. I don't know how you didn't get tired, but like, I would be so dead tired, and then we would pull into some like Starbucks to get a coffee or something, and then a little kid would walk out with like a sunflower shirt or something,
And we just look at each
and
other.
there were certain points where I would just be like, fuck sunflowers.
No.
like damn it, it's like undeniable that this is what we're supposed to be doing right now, even if I'm tired and it's hard and it's going to require me digging within myself emotionally.
It
But
was
like,
this weird compass.
Yeah.
that just like kept pointing us like all of these different ways.
well, it was it felt like life was being like, you've said you've wanted this, like
Yeah,
take
just
it, and
literally.
like, do you
Here you
really
go.
want it?
Dude,
Like, do
that
you
was like
actually want
descending
this?
into the cave.
Wow.
Oh, dude,
for
the
freeway,
cave.
like,
God,
I
the
was
cave.
like, where are
No, I felt that way too, man. I was like, we're gonna die in this cave. Like, literally,
300 feet
Wasn't that like one of the first thing y'all did?
that was
Dude,
the first
yeah.
part of the trip.
Like hour
I
3
was
of the trip.
buzzed off my head on some. I was trying not to use tobacco on that trip, so at the first gas station we stopped at, I found these like, they were like pouches of straight coffee. So
It was like chewing tobacco coffee tabs.
yeah, it was like,
What?
I mean, you know those little like dip pouches I did for so long.
Yeah.
Wasn't it called like Spark or something
It was
like that?
they were called grinds.
Grinds.
Or grounds, maybe.
That's it.
Damn, talk about a sponsor.
Oh, yeah,
Yo,
baby.
imagine getting the shipment of like 300 cans of that. But yeah, dude, I was blasted off those suckers. I was like shaking, and then we were like in this cave, and there's like fish swimming around us.
And it's dark.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
it is-
dark. I mean, you had headlamps to be able to see.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I don't know how much time y'all have spent in caves, or if any listeners have spent time in caves, but like the way it feels underground, that like cool, just like silence,
Yeah.
coupled with us being like, this is just the beginning of what's going to be an insane trip. Was
No, we all knew that we didn't know how big we were about to dive in.
Well, and it was great
Like,
having Sawyer there too, because that was his first trip with us, and that was really his first time hanging around us doing creative shit.
Yeah.
So like, to have an outside voice being like, y'all are
What's
fucking
happening?
insane. Like, was really motivating at times. Like, to just be like, wow, like, okay, maybe, like, we should really not take for granted how special this shit that life is presenting us is. You know
I think
what I mean?
that feeling is why I couldn't get tired on that trip,
Mm.
and that's why I didn't crash until I got home.
Yeah.
Even on like 2 hours, 1 hour of sleep, some nights I was just like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have time to care right now about that stuff
Yeah.
because I'm doing something way, way better.
Yeah.
I'm paddleboarding in a cave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely, like, Timmy helped me a lot keep my perspective positive, but she was, you know, just like, you don't want to look back on this and not remember it. Like, you don't, like, it is worth it. And I mean, you were saying this as well, but it's worth it to, like, put aside exhaustion sometimes. I mean, there's points where you have to take care of yourself, but, like, on a
No,
trip
we
like that,
crashed and we'd end up getting food at midnight. And
Right.
just like,
remember ordering at the Starbucks?
dude, I love that little video clip. so
Oh
much.
yeah, that was
happened?
awesome. There was just this
It was just
person
the
working
happiest
there.
human being
Yeah,
I think
they
I've
were just like,
encountered this year.
they were literally
At
like,
Starbucks.
I don't even think they said like, what can I get you? They were just like, hi.
Hi, good morning.
then
I love you.
Before you know it, they were like explaining why sriracha was their favorite sauce to me, and like it was just so funny. But I
that
mean,
was the same morning that we lost all of our suit luggage.
Oh,
in the
I
middle
tried as a
of an
joke.
Intersection at 6:30 in the morning.
I tried as a
Maryland.
joke. There was a roundabout, and as a joke, I wanted to see how many times we could go about the roundabout, and so we did it like 2 or 3 times, and then
We
we
had
started.
to shut the back.
We started coming back around and saw all of our shit in the road, and I was
Oh
like,
my god.
"How did that? Like, did we break through like a time barrier? Like, what the
Every
hell?"
suitcase.
And then we look
just
back.
thrown into traffic on the
Hadn't
road.
hadn't closed the thing, and then I just slammed on the brakes. This is all in front of like Sawyer's like childhood neighborhood too. So he's just like, "Guys, we can't just stop here. Like,
I was
we
like,
have
stop
to."
the car.
Have to.
I remember just
God.
getting out and running, like
Yeah.
to go get all the stuff, and I was like, a car won't hit me.
That was the pick.
No way.
They'll stop
Oh.
for me.
Yeah.
I'm me. It won't happen. There was a lot of shit like that on that trip, man. That was an insane trip. But everything we did, man, felt that way. I mean, all the stuff with Rip, just so funny. Just like so much beauty in all of that stuff, man. Like
Bottle rocket video,
insanity.
just literally separating from
Insanity.
the planet for
Right.
about 8 hours.
That was only 30 minutes from home, which was wild to be like, oh, you can go this far outside of Nashville and find a kooky place. That house was insane. Oh, shout out to Jason.
Jason Lacrecia.
Oh my god.
Dude helped with so
Unsung hero of the
much.
project.
Truly, Jason, you're the man. He was so helpful in so many ways, and like the most
Helped build those spaces.
literally
Like,
helped build those
physically in real
spaces,
time
and just
like,
set an amazing energy for
Yeah.
what we were doing, man. Remember,
it builds
y'all
you
remember?
up in every way.
Yeah, y'all remember when we were shooting the kids?
Yeah, bathtub.
I was in the bathtub. I'm scared. We're pretty deep into this. I'm scared, and I can cut this out, I guess. I'm scared to talk about being stoned because I don't know if my parents are gonna listen to this, and I don't think they'd be pleased. But I was laying in that bathtub, really feeling it, and like you guys were setting something up, and Jason had been outside in the snow, running back and forth with a smoke machine,
Yeah.
running it through lasers, and he came in, and he was just so pumped up.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, what have you been doing out there? And he was like, dude, I
Running.
was just standing there and I realized I had a bunch of extra calories that like I just like wanted to burn. So I just did jumping jacks for like 2 minutes straight. And I was like, I have never heard someone view anything that
like
way.
It's like
yeah.
you were out in the snow.
You were like,
Yeah.
and you thought that was the time to maybe get a little extra burn in.
Yeah.
Like work on that pita bread that we all just ate. It was
Yes.
so
Also,
good.
like Jason's not inside looking at the monitor. Like he's not like
No,
Yeah.
dude.
fully like oh, this is why I'm doing this. He's just
Yeah.
like literally so damn trusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
He's
like, no,
such
I
a
need you
team
to run
player.
this 40-foot diameter like from the house to the laser like nonstop for
Yeah.
like the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And like
Without knowing what the hell
what it
we're
looks
shooting.
like,
yeah.
why
Yeah.
he's doing it. And
Yeah.
then, like I go inside and Drew, you and me are like, holy shit.
Yeah. Keep doing it, Jason.
Never seen anything look like this, but no, his perspective on that is so wildly different. Like watching that BTS footage back, I was just like laughing at that whole room because the three of us were like going off to a degree, like inside,
going
like having this
insane.
huge moment. And Jason's interpretation of that is very different.
Yeah.
Standing out in the cold, burning
He was
calories.
going off.
Muffled audio through
Yeah.
the walls, like,
And just snow,
Yeah.
like wet snow hitting him, and him being like, "Oh, it's like taking a shower."
I feel physically lighter when I'm around Jason.
I want to only be around people like that, and
Yeah.
he's a really good example of that.
Yeah.
Man, do you guys want to hear my conclusive question?
yeah.
Hit it.
If you guys could ask God anything, I think I've asked you this before. If you guys could ask God anything in this situation, believing in a God that is just going to talk to us like an old man on a bus or old person on a bus, what would you guys ask God?
That's a really good question.
I think I answered this.
It was-
I asked you. I was going to ask God. When did you ask me? This was like
This
a
is
few
a
months
while
ago.
back, yeah.
I was like, I would probably ask him like when humanity would end. I don't know what I was
Yeah.
thinking about.
No, man.
I feel like that changed though. Like I don't think I would ask him that today for sure. Like I don't
When's
know.
it all going down?
I don't think that really matters. You know,
It'd be interesting to know,
it would, but like, what would you do with that knowledge?
right? Especially if
You
you're
know?
sitting in heaven
Yeah. Yeah.
or in just Afterlife Central.
yeah, the bus station. The
Yeah.
all white bus station.
Yeah.
I'm really racking here. I have a couple. I don't know.
Where's Frank Ocean?
Where, dear God, where's Frank?
Are there any signed copies of Blonde?
Yeah.
Lift.
The Black Friday edition, please.
Mm.
I don't know. We've talked a lot about just like us being sources of like creation, and like if God is real, I wonder if like the perspective is the same. Like,
Yeah.
if he's viewing like us through a lens of like artistic integrity. Probably not. I'm sure it's something larger than that, but I don't know. I would ask if God's proud of his work.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a great one.
You pumped on how this worked out?
Yeah.
Dang.
Not specifically like humanity though. You don't need
No,
to
just
talk
the
about
whole-
that.
no.
But like
So,
everything.
maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, we
maybe,
have
but
problems, but we're also getting better. You know,
Yeah.
progressive. He built a machine that constantly improves upon itself. Like
yeah.
she built a machine that's constantly improving. But yeah, I think that'd probably be my question.
Okay. That's a great question.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what he would say. You know? It. You know? Like
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would ask, now that I'm not thinking about the world's demise.
As much.
I would think I would ask like, are we you?
Yo.
You know, like
That's some Ramdas shit.
And the answer is yes.
See, I feel like
So maybe we can just ask ourselves,
yeah.
what do we think?
Oh Jesus. Oh God. See, I want to believe it a lot, and like I hear it a lot, but like that's just always such a hard thing to believe. So
That we could be God.
yeah, that like we're all it, you know.
Yeah, I get that.
So maybe hearing it from the source, be like,
I think the idea of a clear source is comfortable, but I feel like the idea of just all of it being all of it makes more sense in my brain.
I
Yeah.
agree.
In that sense, like we are the universe looking back at ourselves. Like
yes,
very
yeah,
simply to me, it's not to everybody, but like
yeah,
perspective, I think lets you view the world in a very beautiful way.
yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with both of those ideas. I mean, I definitely think, I don't think it would be unrelated from what we were talking about with like a lot of times the best answers to like creative questions are like what we would have answered them as kids,
Yeah.
and like not knowing what we know now. And I think that would be, I think that is related to maybe what a God would be. I'm believing in God more than I have in a long time. Very different version of God than believed in when I was growing up, though.
Probably
Yeah.
one that makes a lot more sense.
This
literally
this one has a
hell,
funny hat.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it just makes more sense, I feel like.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just shaping to comfort myself, maybe
True.
but maybe that's what God is. Maybe God is.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something, you generally find it.
Yep, that's true.
Synchronicity.
Yep.
No brain.
Or just synchron.
That's not even one of them. Don't give a fuck.
Gentlemen, any final thoughts past my concluding question?
Yeah, that feels like a pretty good spot to let it breathe.
Yeah. Y'all come back on, huh?
Yeah.
To the cast?
To the
To the-
cast.
Yeah. Fuck saying pod.
Yeah,
To the cast.
We the cast, bro.
Well, any parting thoughts? You feel like it's good?
Thanks for Portland.
Yeah, thanks for coffee. Thanks for having me.
Shout
I
out
love
Portland
both of
Brew.
you a whole lot.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I love both of you a whole lot.
I love
Oh.
you
Like
both
that-
as well.
This process.
I love y'all too.
You guys are my
brings
best
out a
friends, man.
bunch.
This was great, like, talking about it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Because we, like we said, we don't really, like, use language most of the time to the full extent. So it was nice to, like, conversate.
We don't
Because
usually
you
have
don't
time.
to.
yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah, man.
Do you guys want to hang? What are you guys doing today?
Well, aren't we going to go on a little walkabout?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can
It
we?
is still so freaking pretty outside.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
always sweat a lot when I just sit still for a while.
Can you
so.
cut it right there?
Yeah.
Can you cut the podcast?
Boom!
Yeah.
Drew Bauml, everybody.
Always sweat a lot.
I always sweat a lot.
Yeah.
I wish I could play y'all.
The theme song?
Can you just kind of hum it?
Yeah, please.
I did like 100. Literally just like let them fly on my way to Portland this morning. And they were like, the Bottle Rocket Podcast Company Podcast Project. Yo! All right. Guys, thank you so much for being here. This has been so much fun. Can't wait to go on a walk with you in just a second.
Let's do it.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
Woo! What was that? Who dat? God?
Welcome.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That was Drew Bauml and Joey Brodnax. Two of the coolest guys you'll ever freaking meet. Can't wait for the next episode. Yep. Alright. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.